I guess the problem in Japan is that things have gone on for so long that deflationary expectations have become entrenched, and of course the economy seems to be in and out of recession. And so it, as you say, it needs shock therapy. It's very different to the US, which acted much more quickly at the time of the GFC and continued to do things until it got what it wanted, whereas the Japanese authorities have been far more reticent, I guess. So what you're talking about here is a massive fiscal stimulus and combining that with more monetary stimulus, not necessarily helicopter money. I don't think that's coming yet, but it could well do. That's where the Bank of Japan directly finances government spending. But I do think we are heading towards some sort of shock therapy. And it's probably going to be focused on direct credits to households in some form or another to encourage them to spend. Much like the checks in the mail that Americans saw at the time of the GFC, we in Australia also saw something like that. And there is evidence that those sorts of things work. So I think if they do something like that, there's a good chance, particularly if it's combined with aggressive action by the BOJ, there's a good chance that that could work.
Is that your baseline scenario for what the BOJ could deliver next week, Shane?
Well, there's a bit of a complication here. I think the BOJ will do something next week. I think the expectations have been ramped up. I think we've got several meetings where there's been disappointment at no action by the BOJ, but I think the way has now been cleared for the BOJ to do something. A lot of talk about helicopter money. That's where the BOJ directly finances government spending. I think it's probably a bit too early to do that. In any case, it requires some change in law by the Diet, the Japanese Parliament, and that they don't sit, I think, till September. So that could be a couple of months away. But I think we will see an expansion of the BOJ injecting cash into the Japanese economy, probably focused on buying ETFs and corporate debt. And maybe a tweak down in the negative interest rate, maybe to minus 0.2%. But I think the focus will be on QE as opposed to interest rates.
Let's stress test the reaction if that scenario, Shane, that you just outlined does eventuate. Do we see dollar yen move higher in short order to 110 plus? And does it help reflate the economy and get to that elusive 2% inflation target?
Well, it should do. There's always a question mark as to where the dollar yen gets before the meeting next week. If it's already up around $1.10, a lot gets anticipated, and therefore the reaction post the meeting may not be as much. But I think this does help. Will it get back to the 2% inflation target in short order? I don't think so. I think that's going to be a long, slow grind. And you know, there's still scope for setbacks here. The BOJ has done on a few occasions over the last few years fantastic moves, and that shocked the market. But of course, we've then seen the market settle back down again and the economy go back to its old ways. It's already, on headline numbers, it's already back in deflation. So they really have to deliver this time around.